Straight out the boot room to Wembley, our second home. We come to conquer, no, we never walk alone. We dominate, the cream of the crop, drawing all our strength from the roar of the cock. It's all for one and one for all. Pass a move, we're talking total football. Here we go again, Roy's red machine. Liverpool, the greatest team the world has ever seen. Pass a move, it's the Liverpool crew. Pass a move, it's the Liverpool crew. Pass a move, 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 it's the Liverpool crew.
Hello and welcome back to the Liverpool Groove. Captaincy is confirmed. It's the captain I expected it to be. I think a lot of people expected it to be. It's not necessarily the one I say a lot, but some people didn't want that captain. But Virgil Van Dijk was always going to be the captain in my eyes. So congratulations to him. It's a huge honour. The last two captains we've had have been captain for a long time, so let's hope he can do the same. But Trent as vice captain, you kind of touched on this last time, and it does kind of feel like this is Hippier getting the armband with Gerrard as vice captain to, in a couple of years' time, for Trent to take over it. It's got that feeling about it.
Yeah, I think we discussed it. Obviously, I was quite vocal that I didn't think it was the correct decision to give it to Van Dijk. But what we didn't discuss in the last game, when it was behind closed doors, all you could hear was Van Dijk, and I made a comment on saying, you know what, maybe he is the right man, because that's all you could hear. It was like when Henderson was doing it, and he wasn't even playing in the closed doors during COVID. You can hear one prominent voice screaming and dictating where other players should be going and what they should be doing. And I got that from Van Dijk the other day. So yeah, obviously it could be a big step for him. I think it might push him on to return to his best self, because we have needed to see that. I also said that I don't think Trent to be an ideal vice captain. I prefer him captain and Robbo. But now it's happened and everything gets brushed aside, seeing him and how made up he is, and seeing Klopp with his arm around him, it does feel right. It's sort of giving him the captaincy and bypassing Van Dijk could have been a massive kick in the bollocks for Van Dijk, really, and it could have upset the apple cart. So to do it this way, he's got a good few years on Virgil, so hopefully it is what you've just said. It's Sammy and Stevie, and one day the scouts will take over. But for now, he's a big presence. Looks brilliant with the armband. He looks like he's got a bit of confidence in himself again, and the pair of them together look like they'll make a great team of leaders. So
yeah,
hopefully it's the foundations we need to go ahead and start winning things again.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, I mean, I put this on Twitter last night, and I don't know what it is, slightly off topic, but I can't explain the buzz I've got going into the season. Like, I put it on Twitter last night. You'd think we'd just won the treble. You'd think we'd just done what Man City have just done. The way I'm feeling going into the season, you wouldn't think we'd finish fifth out Champions League. It's like I can't explain it, but there's just something. I've just got a really good feeling about going into this season.
Yeah, I have, lad. As I say, I keep making little digs at the FSGO groups and that on Twitter, but there's a feel around the club. You can see it in the players and the new lads and the manager. They all just look dead happy. They look happy to be playing for Liverpool and being at Liverpool, and there's something they know that we don't. They know how good they're going to be or how good they feel, and it's going through the club. And I think you're a little bit negative if you aren't feeling good at the moment. Klopp's openly said there's be more signings, or we're going to try stuff like this. The young lads are coming through. Some of them are looking like absolute world beaters. Some of them are making that next step. So you can only be excited. Last season won't happen again. And if it does, questions will be asked. But there's not a chance. There's not a chance we go out and perform like that. The legs in the midfield, the changes that we're making, the new faces, everyone just, even when the first day coming in, Trent with his haircut, and he was like, it's a new me. Things like that are just, we're taking them to the next level. I just feel like that there's a feeling within the club there and with us that the fans, there's something special is about to happen again, and it's nice to feel like that.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think I was going to try and carry on what you said there, and I think you just summed it up perfectly, to be honest.
It's hard. I feel like we're getting all overexcited over transfers and that, but I said it on the last one, lad, I'm excited to see the young lads. You've got your Ben Oaks and your Clarks and the likes of Pachetic and Curtis Jones and see Harvey Elliott. Now, these are lads who've been around the squad a little bit, but they've only built a little platform to step up on. Now they're on the platform. We see where these lads can go. It's exciting. It really is. And I know it's not ideal all the time, not signing the next superstar and this, but sometimes you've already got them there, lad. That Ben Oak's unbelievable.
We've said it for
Salah and Harvey Elliott, another option for that right forward place. And then you've got the young lads in midfield. It's exciting. And whatever the team is going into the season, whether we sign anyone or not, got to back them because Klopp's the manager and Klopp's making his fucking head off. So we've got to too.
Yeah. No, I mean, we've kind of said that from the very beginning of this podcast, to be fair. 3 years ago was sometimes you've got to trust the youth. Like, imagine if when Klein got injured, we never thought, you know what, let's give this kid a go in the academy, Trent Alexander-Arnold. What would have happened there? And you know what I mean? So
at the time, the most exciting thing to do is go out in the January and go and sign a 30-40 million pound fullback from Real Madrid or Bayern Munich, and we're all dancing in the streets. Then you don't have Trent, as you say. So sometimes the people who are working with the footballers know a bit more than us. You only see them on the telly every now and again, or at the match. They're with them day in, day out. He's not going to put all the pressure of playing for Liverpool Football Club on a kid who's not ready. He's not going to do it, and that's why we've got to be patient. And as fans as well, when he does, like, let these kids go into the team for the first few weeks or whatever, give them the time. Don't turn into Evertonians who sigh and boo at every fucking little mistake they make. The young kids, they're going to make mistakes. They need to learn on the job. But there is some talent in that team, lad, and there's no doubt at all.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll discuss some of them a little later when we talk about the Leicester game. But just coming back to the captaincy a minute, obviously we know the captain and vice captain. The leadership group now does appear to be obviously them two, with Salah, Robertson and Alisson as the sort of third, fourth and fifth captains in whatever order they are. I think that's the perfect sort of leadership group within the squad now. They've all been there in and around the first team roughly the same amount of time. They're the ones who've won everything with us, being integral part of everything we've done now. I think that's absolutely perfect as a leadership group.
It's not a bad group to have, is it, really? You're talking, there's 11 players on the pitch and 5 of them 10. So to have that core of players, that group, where it's like when you're saying about quality, you need a brilliant goalie, brilliant centre half, brilliant midfielder, and a brilliant forward, and you have that core. And if the branches on the sides are a little bit shit, you can still get through it. Like we done it with Istanbul. You know what I mean? The branches with the team weren't fucking great, but we went on to win the Champions League because the core was magnificent. So, if we can just keep them leading and allow the young lads and that to make their mistakes, even though like we don't want them to, but if we can just keep them 5 lads together as a group and let the kids learn off them, let the young lads learn off them, let the new players come in and learn off them, you can't really go wrong. There's that many leaders. And I know we've panicked, haven't we, with the likes of Henderson going and Milner and now the likes of Fabinho, but players go out and you've got to replace them with young players. So if you've got that many leaders in your team, it's only good.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, talking about some of the young players, the last pre-season game, first one over in Singapore, beat Leicester 4-0. So I think people can stop worrying about any pre-season jitters. I think when you've seen what they've done, you can take out the Adrian tax for the last game where it was 4-4. Kelleher come in, started, made a brilliant save in the first half. Very Alisson-like save, I must admit. So I really hope he stays. I know how much he wants to play first team football, and don't get me wrong, he deserves to be first choice somewhere. But from a purely selfish Liverpool point of view, I hope he stays, because I genuinely don't think I don't think we can replace him with a keeper as good as him if he goes.
No, there's not a chance. As Klopp said, he's the best number 2 in the world. There's not a player, but no one's happy to just sit there. Alisson's only in his early 30s. He's got another 3 or 4 years at the very top, if not more. he's fit, he looks after himself. So is that kid gonna let his best years fall apart just to sit there? I don't know, but the likes of the Europa League, the League Cup, they're competitions that he might play in, and it's not because you're letting your reserves play. Sometimes you've got a player who's that good who can start getting in the team in competitions like this, where you don't feel like it's going to really hinder you that much. So I think that's what we need to do with him. Offer him game time to a point where he's going to be playing like half the games this season. But then can you risk upsetting Alisson?
It's a tricky one, lad, and Kelleher's only going to get better learning from Alisson, and as much as he's not as good a keeper as them two, he's going to learn a lot from Adrian as well, lad, just because he's got the experience. He's played in the Premier League for a long time. He's still going to have things that Kelleher needs to know. John Achterberg, he's been there for God knows how long now. He's obviously very trusted. You've got Taffarel. They're the core of goalkeepers that we've got, lad, in terms of coaches and players, and the young ones coming through is brilliant. Like, we've got a really good team of goalkeepers, and I wouldn't be surprised if Adrian is more of a coach in the group rather than a player now, to be honest. But as I say, he's a good person to have around for experience, if nothing else.
Yeah, the way he conducts himself as well, lad. Like, he's never stropping, he's never moaning. He knows he's not going to play unless we're absolutely desperate. He signed a contract, and people are like, "Oh, we're a joke for signing him another year." Why? He's a perfect body to have. He's not going to kick up a fuss for not playing, and he's going to be there pushing them to the limits every single day in training. So, as you say, all you can do is learn off people like that. But one of the things we like in our team is having good lads who conduct themselves well, and like Adrian's one of them.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, Kelleher keeping him, I think, is crucial for me this season. Some of the other young lads.
You've got to offer him a deal where it's like, you are important. You are important to the club, not just as a number two. We need to try and find him a bit more game time, really. But it's hard. There's only one position, so you've got to obviously keep your best keeper and keep him sweet at the same time as number two. But I think it's coming to a point now where they're going to lock horns and be like, right, am I going to play or am I going?
Yeah. Truthfully, if we do end up keeping him this season and come next summer he's still not feeling like he's playing enough, he's going to go then. I think this is the last season where it can be a case of you might only play, one game in the League Cup because we go out in the third round or something, or however it pans out. I think we're not going to be able to do it much longer. So having extended runs in these competitions where Kelleher is the first choice, because we've seen it the other, not last season before when we won the cups. Kelleher was the keeper right through the League Cup. So as long as we progress, if Klopp decides he's his keeper for that competition, he's going to stick with him.
Yeah, he will.
And he's got that assurance from that experience, so he knows it's down to himself to make sure to keep himself playing in a way, because the better we do in a competition, the more he's going to play if he's the keeper in it. So it's an incentive at the same time.
Yeah, I think even if the time come where he did decide he was going to leave, we've just got to be clever about it. We've got to say, yeah, you go to someone like Burnley or someone, but we've got first refusal on you, or next sale, stuff like that. Just got to make sure we look after ourselves with them. But obviously the preference would be to let him go somewhere, even if we loaned him out for a year, where we've got the option to recall him if we did have any injuries and that. We've seen it happen before, so if he wants game time, we've got to try and make sure he gets a bit more than he's been getting.
Yeah, definitely. Some of the other young players who've looked good in all the pre-season, but especially this last game, you've got Bobby Clark getting on the score sheet, Ben Doak getting on the score sheet. I'm never letting you live that one down, to be honest.
Because he's Scottish, lad. I can hear it in his accent.
Fair enough. Now, yeah, obviously them two getting on the score sheet. That'll probably be Ben Doak's only headed goal of his career, I'd imagine.
Tell you what, it was a great header though.
Going back and that, it was class.
To get that where it went was spot on.
Yeah, it was. Bobby Clark, great finish. Nice to have a Bobby scoring again. Didn't think we'd get that again, to be honest. So I was happy with that. And even at the back, again, we mentioned him, I think, the last one, that Gerald Quansah, made a great block.
Even that, like, I know, like, it's a lot of pressure to put on a kid, but if we think he's ready, or he oversteps the likes of your Reece Williams and Nat Phillips, and well, they're obviously one's on loan, one's gonna go, then he steps up and there's your centre half. Again, it's if we go out, how old is he? Like 17, 18?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly, but he's
So like
probably around that age.
Lad. If we went and spent 30 million on a 20-year-old French international, everyone would be buzzing.
Not even that. Look how much everyone wanted Colwell.
Oh, exactly. But just because he's new. So just Liverpool should just blag social media and go, we bought this kid from Benfica for 40 mil, and everyone would go ballistic. Yeah, and I've seen him play. He's brilliant. No, we just brought him through the academy. Fucking big dopes. That's what people want. So yeah, if he said before, lad, if you're good enough, you're old enough. So he's a big unit. He's a bit like Canate. Obviously going to be a bit raw because he's still young and we'll have to learn off the likes of Van Dijks and that. But you know what I mean? He's a body there that looks very useful.
Yeah, and look, these young lads wouldn't be in the pre-season squad if Klopp didn't think that at least close to being ready for the first team. We've seen it with Ben Doak last season, who, if he never got injured, probably would have featured more in the first team last season. You've seen it with Katie Gordon, who come through. Obviously, he got a big injury as well. I think he's gone out on loan now. So we're doing it the right way. We're giving these lads the chance in pre-season. They've obviously impressed before that to be chosen in pre-season. And if they're doing well in pre-season, then you've got to give them that chance to see what they can do in the first team. If it doesn't work out, fair enough, it doesn't work out. But they wouldn't, like, are we going to really start doubting Klopp with these young players?
That's the thing with kids though, lad, is you put them in the first team, and a manager like Klopp, he put his arm around and say, listen, I've put you in for 5 games, it hasn't quite worked out. That's my fault, not yours. You're not quite ready. Go back down a level, go back into the reserves, work your arse off, see you're in training every now and again, see where you're up to, and you'll try it again. You know, I feel like he sort of done that with Harvey Elliott until he was pushed into having to play him because we had injuries. I think that was the sort of thing. It was going well, he got injured, and then it wasn't going quite as well. And then he's had to just put him wherever we can because we've had our bodies out. So you've got to just give them, if they're good enough, lads, you've got to give them a go. Joke's definitely good enough. Joke's definitely ready to go in, not to go in that squad, to come on. There's not many players, even from now, watching him pre-season, there's not many players in that league I'd be more excited to bring it on for half an hour to win you the game than him. Because he's just absolute dynamite. He's like, he reminds me of Michael Owen when Michael Owen first came on the scene. He's little, he's got that burst of energy, dynamite speed, and he's got that hunger that he wants to be on the end of scoring goals. So it's exciting. He's a really, really exciting prospect, and I think he's nearly he'll be going in that squad this year. Definitely.
I can see him in the squad against Chelsea, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the bench against Chelsea. And probably the same with, I think probably Quansah is the other one out of the lads in pre-season. I think he's the one who's probably caught the eye the most, if not sort of spectacularly, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think he's been solid. He's been impressive. The hasn't
been great, even in pre-season, and he's still managed to stand out, which is fair play to him. He still looked dead well in defences that have struggled. At times, he's looked like the lead centre half as well, which is massive.
Yeah.
So, let's say Quansah, I think they are 2 that we were looking at to be in the squad for Chelsea. But Matip's fit, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember if he come on Sunday.
We discussed the centre halves at length, didn't we?
Yeah.
Canate still raw, but prospect brilliant. My starting 2 is Van Dijk and Matip for me at this moment in time. But again, we just need pace. If we're going to play that high line, you just need. That's why Gomez and Van Dijk were brilliant, because Gomez had that burst and pace till his injury that we could get back. We didn't really bat an eyelid. The ball would go over the top, and one of them would be there. We're just struggling with a bit of pace. So Then if that bounces like a little yard back, get on the end of it, there's a massive change in your system straight away.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of sort of younger players coming in, let's move on to Lavia. Who knows what's happening with it at the minute? Seems to
Didn't
be
want to
a new.
mention.
No, who is he? No, but there seems to be a different story every day with him at the minute. So I think the latest one is we bid, I think it was 42 million, including add-ons. But Southampton are adamant they want the 50. So Southampton in a weird position with it, and now City have got a buyback clause of 40 mil. And I think they've also got 20% of whatever they sell him for. So I can understand why they're adamant at getting the 50 for him, because obviously, you know, they're losing 5 mil of that straight away. Or 10 mil rather, I can't even do much. So yeah, they're losing a big chunk of it. So I can understand why they're adamant at getting the 50 million for him. But, you know, at the same time, we've got to go, if we don't think he's worth 50 million, then we're not going to pay 50 million. And it's hard to say with a player that's played one season of Premiership football at 19. Like, yeah, he was Southampton's best player probably by a mile last season. But again, it's like he's played one season of Premier League football. We as much as Southampton can't be bullied over bringing the price down, we can't be sort of just going, okay, yeah, we'll just give you what you want. Like, we can't do that.
And that's exactly what fans want. Fans are saying, "Oh, just pay them the extra 8 mil and stuff like that." 8 mil is like another player's wage for 3 years on like 120 grand. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, he's a kid. He's not really. I don't even think he's gonna play that often. So if he's gonna come in as an understudy for somebody else for 50 mil, I can't see us doing that. So I think he is our number one target, and then that's it. We might go and get a centre half. I don't think we're getting two. I don't think we'd spend 50 mil on a player who's going to try and basically going to boost the squad. 50 mil is a starter. So eggs in the basket now. If it was me, I'd just double the money and offer it to Brighton. And use Thiago or Bacheta just that as that other number 6 if Casado got injured. But so it's all a dream world. But I understand both clubs. Yeah, they want the money. We don't want to pay it. But at the end of the day, if we get caught on stuff, you know what I mean? And we don't end up buying anyone because we've waited and waited for him. So it's like the Bellingham situation, and he ends up elsewhere. Then we look fucking stupid. So we've got to obviously have a backup option, but we should realistically be aiming towards a better quality sign from the off anyway, in my opinion. Yeah.
I can't see us getting no one. I've seen a lot of talk. I've seen a lot of talk, people saying, why are we lowballing Southampton? It's like it's a negotiation. Like, you don't just go to the table and go, how much do you want? And they go 50 million. We go, all right, yeah, Tom. That's not how football works. That's not how business works in general. Like, it's a negotiation. Like, the price isn't set in stone. So yeah, you're going to negotiate. We're trying to get the best deal for us. They're trying to get the best deal for them, and you compromise. That's how transfers work. I shouldn't have to explain this.
If we saved 1.25 million, it's still better off in our bank than it is theirs. The interest on that alone is worth mega money. But people don't understand the business aspect of it all. To save £1 million and have that £1 million in your bank for next year, the interest on that's sound. Yeah, that's another player's wage. So we need to be shrewd. We don't want to be panic buying. We don't want to be going out spending 50 mil on a 19-year-old who no one knows how fucking good he is yet. Don't know how good he can be. So if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna go and spend big on a player we do know, player who is gonna be quality, who's gonna walk into that first team and make the changes we need. But for the system we play, there's not many of them about. No. You need a ball playing defensive midfielder, and there isn't many.
No. I personally still think Lavia signs, whether it's before the Chelsea game, whether it's after it. I still think before the window's closed, I think we see him in a Liverpool shirt, to be honest with you. Obviously, now there's the rumours.
sorry, do you know if we wait till the fucking deadline day, right, and we end up getting him for 42 mil and we saved the 8 mil, it's fucking weird that he's missed, what, a game or two? Just do it. Just do what you need to do. If he's give his word that he wants to sign for us, and we've give his word, listen, we'll keep coming till deadline day, then that's how it works. You've got to play the game, and fans will probably prefer that anyway. They all moan now that it hasn't been done early, but every one of them will be taking a day off work on deadline day to see what's going on outside the Access Training Centre. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going to say Melwood, it still feels weird not saying Melwood. But yeah, it's one of them. Football, the summer's exciting. We all moan. We're just going to moan and moan and moan. We'll sign him and then we'll moan about how we need a centre half. And if you don't get one deadline day, everyone will be moaning about that. So we're not going to win.
No. Obviously, we've been linked with, seems to be speeding up a bit. Andre from Fluminense in Brazil. Never heard of him, never seen him before in my life.
Is he Brazilian?
He's Brazilian. All I know about him is he's the greatest midfielder that's ever come from Brazil.
Alisson needs his best mate.
He does. So yeah, sign him. Now it's a difficult one. I know the Brazilian transfer window closes tomorrow. So obviously his club are going to be even more reluctant to let him go. I don't know. It's a tough one, as I say. Brazilian clubs, I think, have a sort of similar thing with Spain, where a lot of the contracts have release clauses in it. So whether we've seen that and gone, fuck it, let's just go and do that. We've watched them for a long time. We're going to have, people will be thinking we don't know anything about this kid. It's like, but the club will. Like, they're not just going out to footy manager and going, who's simulate a few years in the future, see who's boss and we'll buy him. They're not doing that. That's like, they've got scouts all around the world. It's like, they know what they're doing. So if we're after him and for us to go and buy direct from South America, I think says a lot about this player, to be honest, because under Klopp especially, we haven't done that at all. We haven't gone and bought sort of directly from the source.
Well, I just think we need like, as soon as you say Brazilian or like South American, you just know like the work rate and that'll be put in, and that's what we're lacking desperately. That's what we need. I just want like a little angry, horrible bastard to sit in that middle who just batters you, kicks you, takes bookings, does everything for the team. If you could have a player like Luis Suarez in centre mid doing all that, or a Mascherano, it's what we're desperate for. Even like when we've had great teams under Klopp, our defensive mid has never been really that nasty. Fabinho's left a few marks on a few people, like fair play to him, but not out and out pure aggression. I think that's what I'm craving myself personally. I want that, but then I go to say Casado, who doesn't offer none of that. He's just a brilliant footballer. He does that role well. So yeah, it's all up in the air. If I could have anything, I'd have a little narc in the middle.
Yeah,
someone who like who'll cause murder, who'll cause chaos, and who won't give a fuck about upsetting anyone.
Tyre would be perfect in that sense, lad, would probably be Valverde from Madrid. He's probably he is like a little Suarez in midfield. Just to backtrack a little bit, speaking of narky, horrible bastard South Americans who do everything for the team, and Luis Suarez type players, the man on your shirt there, Darwin, looking brilliant in pre-season.
That's in chaos.
And so was goal against Leicester. That goal was so pleasing because last season Darwin wouldn't have followed that up.
Exactly what I thought, lad. I've been watching Jota and the way Jota plays, and we've said Jota's just like a mini Robbie Fowler. Just obviously can do anything, so it's no disrespect saying he's just a box striker. He gets it out wide, cuts into the middle, and then he makes his way to the box, to the 6-yard box. And Nunes is starting to do that, and that's what we want. We just want him. Just tell him, get in the goal mode. He's somewhere around the goal, and he's doing it this pre-season, lads. But he's involved in the play as well. He's not just a little one-trick pony, like that blonde-headed thing of City. I can't even compare him, lad. His quality's shut up. But He's no, he's got a lot more to his game. I think he is absolute chaos, but now he's adding the basics back into his game, which is what he missed. He had all the madness and all the crazy stuff that you want to see in a centre forward, but then he lacked the basics, the simple one-touch passing, the pass and go, and the getting to the 6-yard box for the second ball and stuff. He's doing all that now. It is only pre-season, it's against shite, but you can only play against what's in front of you, and he's standing out.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think last season it was a case of he was trying a bit too hard to impress?
Yeah, defo, and I think that's the worst thing you can do. When you're trying too hard and you've got time to think about things, you'd always make the wrong decision. It's just a formality in football. That even like from Sunday league to the fucking very top, if you've got the ball at your feet with too long to think and someone running at you or someone running behind you, you tend to make the wrong decision. It's like a game of instinct, football.
Yeah.
Got to do what you naturally do at that moment, and he's starting to learn that. And I think that's great to see, like, because when we discussed the forward options and we go on about all the players on the left, your Jota, Diaz, Nunes, Jota's your only real out and out striker, and I think Nunes is working his way into being one of them as well, which is what we need. Like.
That's it. So I want to move on to the little questions that we've got from Twitter. I say one we kind of robbed a bit, but we're adopting as our own now. So but I'm gonna ask the first one first, obviously, because you can't ask it second. So we got one from your little Jedi on Twitter, belt name. So he said, John Henry rings you. He tells you he's down on his luck and Linda's giving him a cold shoulder. He needs cheering up. Which goal or game are you showing him to make him go, no way? You've got to pick one goal, one from before he took over. Don't be a shitbag and use Istanbul.
Yeah. Mine is a shitbag one, but it's Michael Owens against Arsenal in the FA Cup final. Because is that yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, lad. Do you know what? I ended up watching the game the other day as well on LFC TV, all the highlights, and I just found myself sat there smirking my head off like, how the fuck have we won that football match? So I'd like John Henry to watch that 90 minutes and then see how we just turned it on for fucking 2 minutes and changed the whole game, lifted the trophy. And it's something I was thinking this the other day, like talking to Evertonians about, well, skitting them, basically saying how the fuse just shit all my life or your life, but it's sad, innit? And then I was thinking about like the times of Gerard Houllier, even Roy Evans won a cup under Evans. Gerard Houllier comes in, we win the treble, go on to Rafa. It's just something in our DNA, even at our worst moments, we win. We just find a way to dig in and win. And I think that has got something to do with the fans in the ground and the belief we've got in this club. When you're walking through the corridors and realise what history lies there, it's before any owner, it's after any owner, any manager, any player. This club's special, and I think that'd be my message to John Henry. Stick in there, lad. Stick in there and keep spending that dough.
Yeah, no, you said it perfectly. I'm gonna. That was mine as well, to be honest, because it was just. I remember watching it fairly recently myself, but that game, Arsenal fucking battered us. They were all over us, and they should have been 3 or 4-0 up. That team they had at that time, Henry, Pires, Ljungberg, Vieira, like it was ridiculous. Similar feeling of Istanbul when you think about it, when you start reeling off them names.
Yeah, I was just thinking that then when you look at AC Milan's team and then you look at Arsenal's team, and just the performance on the day again, like he fucking battered us. Stefan Oncho was brilliant in goal. Just things like that. How the fuck have we won that game? And it was just more dramatic. So like, as much as we hate Michael Owen because of things he's done, when you listen to the interviews he's done and things he's said, and you know, he dreams of like doing a bit of an Ian Rush, going away for a year, going to a European club and then returning. We never came back in for him, so there was not much he could do. But some of the best nights of our life have been because he's been scoring the goals for us. So we've got to remember that as well sometimes.
That's it. But because you did also choose that one, I'm gonna I'm going to choose a different one. And I'm going to say Chelsea 2005 semi-final, second leg at Anfield. And again, it's a bit of a shitbag one, but I'm not asked. Just because, again, you look at what they done in the league that season. 95 points at that point was a record. I think they only conceded 15 goals all season. They battered us both games in the league. Beat us quite comfortably. Not necessarily in scoreline, but just in terms of performance, beat us quite easily. And then for us to go there and get a draw was huge. And then to bring it back to Anfield, for that ball to definitely cross the line. It would have been a penalty anyway, so it doesn't matter.
And a red card.
And a red card. So you got, just be thankful you'd only got that. But for Johnson to miss that in the last second, lad, the last kick of the game, like I was ready to throw myself out the top window when he shot because I just thought it was going in.
Palpitations, that. But obviously, I was in the ground. One of the best nights I've ever had in my life. That ball dropping to Johnson was in fucking lasted 10 minutes, lad. The little trickle, it come up to him on the volley to just whack it. It's zoomed past everyone. You're waiting for them to the Chelsea fans to cheer and then run away, and it just didn't happen. It's fucking mad. There was something special, something in that ground that night. Beyond football, same with Istanbul. We were meant to win that cup.
Yeah.
I must say on this podcast,
I've got you.
Lad. But no, like, what a question this is. I was watching LFC TV the other day as well, and I could reel off a load.
But yeah, I was just going to say some special mentions.
Like, one of the other ones, obviously, Gary Macher against Everton. But then there's the likes of Danny Murphy last minute against United and stuff like that.
Olympiacos.
Yeah, fucking, there's some unbelievable.
Even Juventus at home that season, lad. The teams we beat on that run, you could just say that whole Champions League run. Like we were out the competition with 10 minutes to go against Olympiacos.
Like he thinks of like 2001
Alves.
Before we played, some of the goals we scored, but then the one that always sticks in my mind is Gary Mack's cross into the own goal from Jelly, what his name was. And
the golden goal.
I can just see him nodding it into the roof of his own net. And it's just like, you see things so vividly when you start thinking about it properly. You know what I mean?
Even for me, like one that always sticks in my head was the season after we won the treble, back in the Champions League for the first time in years. And it was when there was still 2 group stages. And we were playing Roma last game of the second group. And I remember being in the ground. I don't always remember Heskey and Littman and got the goals. And even that, lad, it was just, didn't appreciate it then because I was so young and I was just made up to be at the match. I wasn't really taking it in properly.
He came back.
Say again.
Was Uli ill there or he came back? Because I remember them singing his name and that.
I think that might have been the one he come back in, yeah.
Because I never actually got a ticket for that game and I was stood in our front garden in Norris Green listening to the crowd after we won. And it was mad. It was like being outside the ground. It was fucking weird, lad. It was unbelievable.
No, that one sticks with me as well, lad. There's, like you say, there's so many.
There is so many.
We could do a full episode of just this question, lad. There's that many we could talk about.
Actually, I'm buzzing again now. Great question, but yeah, mine's always. But I think if you give me another 2 minutes, I'll probably change it about fucking 50 times.
Yeah. What we might have to do, we might just have to answer this question every episode now, just when we think of a new game.
One of my favourites was Marcus Babbles in the final at Alves.
Yeah.
Because we had him in the sweep.
It's been crazy. Even, again, you say, even when we've been at our sort of, in our shitter phases, we've still had these moments, like your 2003 League Cup final. Gerrard with that deflected goal off Beckham, and then Owen getting 2, at a time when United were dominating, we couldn't get near them in the league. It comes to the final, and it's just something special with Liverpool.
Yeah, there's just a belief about what it is. You can't even put your finger on it, even as a fan. Like, we've been called deluded and fucking biased all our lives by our blue neighbours, but it's not delusion. It's fucking fact. It's real. There's evidence. We go into games we shouldn't win and we win. Go into trophies that we shouldn't even fucking the competition too big for us at times, we win. We go and win it. Sometimes we don't look quite ready to go into the big with the big boys, and we come out on top. It's just fucking Liverpool. It's what we do.
Just putting a smile to your face, doesn't it? It's boss.
I just never doubt them. I mean, that's from my dad. Even Istanbul, that 3-0 down, half time, I'm crying my eyes out like a little bitch. Literally like a little bitch going, oh, fucking, because just something, like probably, maybe, like what you'd say Twitter would be like today. I'm sat in eyes, oh my God. Been to every fucking home game. My ma wouldn't let me go to the final. So I was fucking already hated it. Sat there, fucking shocker. And my dad literally said to me, if you get a goal in the first 10 minutes, you'll win it. And I was like, you're a lunatic. Take your glasses off. Take your rose-tinted glasses off. You're a lunatic. It's going to be 7-0. They're too good. They're making a show of us. I think first goal was a 54.
Something like that, yeah.
54th minute. Within 6 minutes, it was 3-all. I was just sat looking at my dad like, you're a fucking lunatic. You're a lunatic. But again,
your dad just sat across from me like that, not bad.
And since then, I'm literally just like,
don't doubt
no
them.
matter what score it is, no matter how we're doing, even Barcelona, fucking hell, I put 5-0 on as a bet. Put a tenner on 5-0. It's only 4, but I put a tenner on 5-0. I was that confident we were going to beat them. Fucking weird. There was just a feeling.
I mean, I didn't throw a bet on. I didn't throw a bet on that myself, but as soon as that final whistle went, when it was 3-0, I just went, we'll win next week. We're going through. Not even asked. And then I couldn't. I was in Prague. I remember I was in Prague the second leg, and I don't know why, lad, couldn't find it anywhere on, and then kept getting updates on my phone when I was getting little bits of internet, seeing that we got to 3-all. That's how much of it I missed, and then was sprinting round fucking the main square, trying just fucking jumping into every bar and boozer I could find to see anywhere that I had it on, and then eventually found one where there was like, it was all Barca fans, and then like me and my mates in the corner. And fucking buzzing off them. It was great. But that's just like you say, you can't doubt them, and you just can't. It's just what we do.
It's credit to them that it's like that now. But I know, lads, you were at the away leg at Barca, and they come out at 3-0, not phased, not asked. Like we've just been given a football lesson in aspects of individual class, but we didn't play that bad on the night. Didn't get torn apart. We played quite well. We could have scored a few goals ourselves. But say people walked out that ground, people walked out the boozers in Liverpool, and just went, not over that. Not over. And as we know, it wasn't. What a question. What a question.
I know, yeah. You fucking sparked something in us there. Nice one. So I wanted to move on to the really, I mean, that one was interesting, but this one really get your fucking brain working overtime. So Gary Taylor _9 on Twitter did ask the Anfield Rap or the Redmen to do this, but we're better than them, so we robbed it. So he wanted the debate of what's the better midfield, Gerrard, Mascherano, Alonso, or Hendo, Fabinho, Wijnaldum.
It's an impossible question. It's hard. I feel like what we were discussing before about the defensive mids, like the modern defensive mid is like a ball playing midfielder who can break play up. So with Fabinho, you had that. Whereas I think Mascherano and Alonso made up for that one position in the quality. Do you know what I mean? Mascherano was dead set on winning the ball back, and Alonso was dead set on distributing the ball, and Gerrard was dead set on grabbing every fucking ball and doing what he can with it. So I think individually, every one of the older players pisses it. Collectively, with this modern Liverpool team and how we play and how we press, don't know whether that midfield could have done that. So the likes of Wijnaldum played a bit of a Mascherano role and a bit of a Gerrard role, where he was trying to press at the edge of the box to win the ball back, but then win the ball back in our own half. So it's an impossible task, really. I think we played different ways. I don't think the midfield we had recently get enough credit for what it's done and what we've won. and the influence they had in it, because names like Jordan Henderson don't ring out like a superstar. Gini Wijnaldum from Newcastle never got the credit he deserved. Fabinho, again, we talk about him now in past tense because he's left us. Don't realise how important he was in what we done. He was the missing piece to a puzzle that we couldn't quite fucking figure out. And then he come in, and that was the rest is history. So, fucking hell, it's impossible. I think in a Jurgen Klopp team, the current his midfield was the better.
Yeah.
But what I'd give to see Mascherano, Alonso, and Gerrard under Jurgen Klopp, but I don't know whether it would work in that system because they weren't. I don't think it works.
No, it's one of them questions, isn't it? It's like it's a very difficult one to try and sort of understand it. But I think you're right. I think individually, man to man, I think Gerrard, Mascherano, Alonso are better footballers than Henderson, Fabinho, and Wijnaldum. But collectively, like you say, they were the perfect machine. You had your Wijnaldum, who just kept it ticking over all the time, breaking up play, doing, like you say, probably the bit of Mascherano role, doing the dirty stuff that the other two weren't doing as much of. Fabinho sitting there protecting the back line, just giving them the support they needed. Henderson, see it's hard because again I was going to say Henderson playing a bit further forward, but even he didn't really do that. You had Henderson sort of sitting there on the right, making sure Trent had the support and stuff like that. So I think the roles of the midfielders in that three were different than the three with Gerrard, Mascherano, Alonso, because Gerrard was getting forward. He was just everywhere, wasn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Every ball was his. Even when he never had the ball, every ball was his. It was just, it was crazy. Mascherano would murder you to get the ball, and Xabi Alonso was just a spectacular
A big shit
footballer to watch. Not he was I don't know if shit was the right word, like, but I know what you mean. But he was your flair in that midfield. He was the one who'd pick the ball up and spray it 50 yards away without looking at the player and knowing exactly where the ball's going to land to the fucking blade of grass. Like, but the roles of the...
It's scary that we had Gerrard who could do that as well, though.
Yeah, it is.
It's mad because I think in a Jurgen Klopp team, you'd have to phase one of them out, which is fucking mental. Yeah. Absolutely mental. So you would defo. I think Mascherano was better defensively than Fabinho, but Fabinho could ping a 30-40 yard ball into feet as well. At one point when we were breaking play up, he was distributing the long passes and the short passes, whereas Mascherano's job was to get it past 2 yards to Alonso or Gerrard.
Yeah.
Again, Gerrard box to box, so we didn't really have one of them under Klopp. When Alden was sort of pressed from the midfield onwards, it's fucking difficult. It's difficult. It is. There's no real answer because I think the systems are that different. Like, I can imagine Gerrard pressing round in a Jurgen Klopp team the way he probably could. I think he'd obviously play, but I think the system suits Fabinho, Henderson, and Wijnaldum more than it does any.
I mean, I don't know if they could, if Gerrard, Mascherano, Alonso, I don't know if they could play this system. I think one of the things I see quite regularly on social media, to be honest, is people saying Klopp gets any bit of flair out the team and stuff like that. And I mean, I don't agree with it, but then when you look at the midfield, it's like the midfielders we've had up until now with McAllister and Szoboszlai, they haven't really been that type of player. They've been industrious, they've been hard-working, they've been just win the ball back, get the ball to the front three. It's like in the midfield, he hasn't really wanted that flair that your Mascherano and at times Gerrard would offer you. So it would be, I don't know if they could necessarily play that system, but then at the same time, I don't think Fabinho, Henderson, and Wijnaldum would be able to play the system that we played at that time with them three. So, like you say, they're completely different systems.
I don't think Fabinho Henderson or Ronaldo get a game under Rafa.
No.
I think they get sold because the system is different. We needed a level of individual brilliance in that team. That's what was discussing before earlier about the core. We needed individual brilliance to make things happen, whether it be a 40-yard ball or a quick break or whatever. But we had the players to do that. Liverpool under Klopp has been like, even watching it today on the Bobby documentary, so much first-time football. Just get the ball to the front three. Bobby will drop in. The other two will go round the back, and you're in. Pass it out wide. Pass it across the box. Goal.
Yeah.
Don't think that suits Mascherano and Alonso. So
No,
it is. It's so difficult.
It's a good question. It's a very good thing to discuss, though.
Going forward, we've obviously replaced Gerrard, Mascherano, and Alonso, and gone on to win absolutely everything. Since Ronaldo, we've struggled.
Yeah.
So I think these are players like him who don't get enough credit, who don't get replaced properly with like-for-like ability. And as you said before, industrious. Didn't replace him with anyone as hard working. We just let the midfield sort of rot a bit. I think it shows how important he was for us. So he'd be one of the first ones out of all of them that I'd be picking to play.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a great thing to discuss. So again, I know it wasn't directed directly at us, but Gary, thank you for it, because it's an interesting one to look at, and it just we've just been fucking blessed over the years, haven't we, with these midfielders? You know, you look at the other ones we've had who haven't played as much as the six we've mentioned in both eras. You know, your Sissoko's, who was unbelievable on his day until he got kicked in the eye. You know, James Milner, Oxlade before he got his injury. Like, some of the midfielders we've had have just been fucking ridiculous.
I can't believe you put Oxlade in the same category as Alonso and Gerrard. Come on.
I'm not putting them in the same category. I'm just saying, like, when you think of some of the midfielders we've had, Anna said, pre-injury, leave me alone.
Yeah, no, to be fair, he's done well. He's done well pre-injury. Like, it's just a shame when you've got the likes of Naby Keita's and that, who never really amounted to fuck all. And you've got players like Haman, who's just now a raging pisshead, who just talks shite. But what a player he was.
Yeah, he was great. Like.
We've had so many good players. But fucking hell, yeah, we have been.
But our next two now, though, haven't we, lads? So McAllister. So I was like, hopefully we play again on I think it's tomorrow, actually, isn't it? Play again tomorrow against Bayern Munich. So hopefully we can actually see them two playing together.
Do you know what? I think it's mad. With going on to the question as well, where we've said, I don't think like them players from the past that fit in this team. You could sort of go, Szoboszlai is a bit more box to box, like a Gerrard, a bit more pass and run into the middle to get on the end of it to try and score, like Gerrard would have done. Not comparing them by any means, but and then your McAllister is like your Alonso. We'll just get it, look for the first time 40-yard pinger. So need to try and go and get that Mascherano now. We'll just fucking batter you. Because it might be a bit more dynamic and play to shoot the midfield more than we do the forward line. That's what we've always been about. We might go a bit more direct where hit the big man up top. Let's see where the ball drops. But the signs of pre-season, we are looking good. We're seeing similarities of like Gakpo coming in like Bobby would have done, and the players getting out, the wingers getting out wide and back into the box like we know. So yeah, it's interesting, good to see. But I think we are going to go more like an old-fashioned Liverpool team where we go march down the wings and through the middle.
Yeah, no, it's exciting times. Like you say, there's a reason we've got a good feeling about the season. You see it in the players, like you said, in Klopp. You hear how he's speaking. Like, I don't know if anyone knows, Jay went to an evening with Klopp.
I did. I wish tell you everything he said.
No, but even you said there, like, he's so enthusiastic about this upcoming season. Like, he's saying this is the start of something special again.
Yeah, it feels new. It feels like he just walked through the door, and the players that he didn't think were going to be able to do the job have gone. And it's hard to take sometimes. You know, it's sad to see the likes of Jordan Henderson and Fabinho go, but I think sometimes we are a bit biased when it comes to defending a player. Jordan Henderson weren't going to play all that often. would have been great to have him still around because he's captain. Same with Milner. Fabinho, for me, we discussed it. If you could get Joe for him, his legs had gone a bit, well, a lot, to be fair, like literally off, would come off. But again, fresh legs around would have helped him. So you supporting them and wanting them to stay, whilst realistically, if they could have went and we can go and get better players, then ideally. But say, yeah, just hearing from Klopp live in the flesh, breathing the same oxygen, was just brilliant. And seeing how infectious it is. It's not even like he's being cocky. It's not like, I know something you don't know. You know what I mean? He's got that buzz. He couldn't wait to get back off holiday. He couldn't wait to see the new lads. He's dead, like, excited by the new lads and the quality they bring. And I think he believes that they'll be a step ahead of previous midfielders, because, as you said before, we don't have like flair players, but these seem to be exactly that. They look very good on the ball. They look calm. They're a bit more like Thiago, but hopefully not. Oh, fucking hell, I've said that. Hopefully, touch wood, they don't get any.
See, I didn't bring him into it today. You can't blame me. No, it's looking good. Let's just enjoy the fucking season. We're gonna win the Europa League. That might as well just give us that now. No. Now, you know what? I do genuinely think we'll go. I think we'll go very far in that competition this season. And I think it's going to spur them on to even bigger things again next season and the season after. So I'm looking forward to it.
That's what I said to you, lad. I said it's exactly like the first season all over again. It's the Europa League, and you know, we've just had a bad season, trying to build something, trying to reinvigorate the club, try and get that good feeling back, because last season it wasn't great. But say, while Klopp's the manager, you don't feel bad for long, don't feel negative for long, unless there's something seriously wrong with you. So all we've got to do is back these. Let's see where we're at when we kick a ball for the first time in the league, and see what the squad is, and whoever's in that squad, get behind them. If there's young lads, give them time. I'll be patient with them. If it's a few of the older lads who we know to expect good things from, then just get behind them and see where we go. We need a good start in the league. Can't be dropping points early on, and I can't see us dropping points early on. I'm confident, no matter what 11 starts. I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, I agree. To wrap up, then, obviously, I mentioned the man on your top there. Tell people where they can go and get one.
You know by now. Scoutingpublic.com. Chaos is a friend of mine. It's a famous Bob Dylan quote, because this fella is absolute chaos. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him this season. So I think he discussed it. His goals and assists last season weren't that bad. I think he got 15 goals, and he never played as much as he wanted. I think he's learning the basics of the game, and he's one of them players you just instantly like. You can see the fire's there in his belly. He really wants to do well. He wants to do well for the shirt. He wants to do well for the fans. The way he connects with us when he scores and stuff. I think you can't buy that. And he needs a proper song on that cop soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Might do a Bob Dylan one for him. Never know.
Never know. But yeah, look, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for the questions that we did get. Hope we answered them well. Please keep listening, keep watching, subscribe, follow, do what you need to do. If you can rate us on Spotify or Apple or Google or wherever you listen, that'd be great. It helps get us up the charts and things like that. But yeah, just thank you. The response the last few weeks, when we've managed to get the consistency going between us, has been fantastic. So just, yeah, thank you, and up the Reds.
Up the Reds.